All right. Well, greetings and salutations, everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for tuning in today to Lions Talk Live Monday, Victory Monday edition. And you know what? I'm sure that I'm like you. Everybody's on the same page. Here we go. We've got 1 week to go until we face the San Francisco 49ers, and the winner of that game is going to the Super Bowl. I got every confidence in the world that the winner of that game will indeed be the Detroit Lions. I don't know if it's because of the Towel of Destiny or whatever it is, but Detroit's going out there on a mission, a purpose. It's hard to believe that we were talking literally just weeks ago. The Lions hadn't won a playoff game in beyond 30 years, hadn't won a home playoff game in just as long, basically. And now, hey, the Lions have won 2 in a row. Everybody feels differently about the franchise. You can hear the national media talking differently about us, Goff, Campbell, everybody in between. You know what? We have turned some heads. We have changed the culture. And now we're going to take it one more step, I believe, next weekend. And we're going to put ourselves in the Super Bowl, be one of the final 2 teams. All right, before we get into today's show in earnest, I want to just a couple real quick things. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're about 90 or maybe 80 some subs away from hitting the 5,800 mark. If you do your part to help out with that, I surely would be thankful. Also, if you're enjoying the show, hit that thumbs up button. One last thing, just because like most of us, I have bills to pay too. If you are looking to buy or sell property in the great state of Michigan, feel free to give me a call or shoot me a text. You see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. Anywhere in the state of Michigan, whether it's vacant land, commercial property, secondary home, primary home, whatever it is, give me a call. Let's see if we can find a way to save you some money on either the purchase or sale of the property. All right. With all those formalities out of the way, let's go ahead and get to the chat, because I'm going to guess everybody is going to be ready to talk a little bit about Lions football today. We had an historic win yesterday for only the second time in my lifetime or the Super Bowl era. The Detroit Lions are going to be in the NFC title game. And I'm going to say this. We've talked about it a little bit yesterday morning. It does seem like the 49ers aren't as dominant as most people would have thought. I'll say this to you guys. Let me know your take on it. But I did probably more video watching than I probably should have last night of the 49ers. And yes, they've got some names on that defensive line. I get it. Chase Young, Bosa, etc. But when you watch them this year, I need to ask you guys, maybe I'm being biased, and if I am, don't be afraid to point it out. But I just don't think, their pass rush is good, and without question. But they're not as dominant as I would say they were, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago when they were just murdering people. It looks like, I think, the Detroit Lions offensive line and the 49ers defensive line, I would almost call it a push. I don't think there's an advantage one way or another for either team. You watch their secondary, their secondary can play, yes. Our secondary, we all know the story that we're giving up yards left and right to people. We give up some big plays here and there. But once again, yesterday, for it seems like about 2 months now, when the game's on the line, especially when you get closer to the red zone, this defense, including the secondary, comes up with some big plays, whether it's Ife Melifonwu, busting up a play, this, that, and the other thing. It does seem like our defense has developed. It does seem like it's going to be hard to run on our defense. And give Aaron Glenn a lot of credit. He's taken flack throughout most of the season, but he has found ways to get pressures and sacks on opposing quarterbacks, and that might have just been the difference in yesterday's contest. All right, let's see what you guys say. Miles, yes. Woo! The Ric Flair did not make an appearance today, but yeah, I do want to thank Ric Flair for stopping by yesterday to support your Detroit Lions. Michael, howdy, Dan, Lions faithful. Awesome win, 14-5. Let that sink in. I did not consider that until just now, Michael. Thank you for that. Yesterday was our 14th win of the season. Now just one win away from the Super Bowl. You know what? It's rare times. You got the University of Michigan winning the national championship. You got the Detroit Lions winning multiple games, let alone at home. And yes, just one win away from the big dance. Anthony, all caps here. Good morning, Duke Crew, Super Bowl or bust! Exclamation points. What a win. I'm proud to say the Lions are my team, 57 years waiting. Well, you know what, man? You're like me and probably most of the people in the chat. We've been waiting a long time for anything even remotely like this. And now that we got it, we're embracing it. We're going to all do what we can to push this team into the Super Bowl. It's going to be real interesting to me to see how many Lions fans actually make it out there. And I know there's people out there trying to ask other people to pay for their ticket to go out to San Francisco. Other YouTubers doing that, and I don't know, man. Pay for your own ticket. That's what I would say. But I get it. Everybody wants to be there. You, me, everybody in between wants to be there to support this team. And I'm just going to say this: good for whoever can make it out there to wear the blue and support the team. I'm going to guess it's going to be no different than most of the rest of the season. You're going to see a lot of people travel, a lot of people take a small family vacation, whatever it is. It might even be cheaper out in San Francisco than it would have been in Detroit, this NFC title game. So hopefully everybody enjoys it and has a great time doing it. All right, Jason, in the words of the Duke Crew, Donkey Kong, Super Bowl or bust. And yes, I got to imagine Donkey Kong will be in here if he's not already. But yes, it's time to get there. You're this close. Finish the job. All right, Michael, greetings and salutations, Coach and Duke Crew. Back at you, buddy. Hopefully having a great one. Jason, injury status. Probably, I would suspect we won't really have an honest one until tomorrow. I mean, there might be some tidbits in the presser today that come out, but I'm suspecting we'll know more tomorrow. All right, Michael, Tampa Bay sure did pick on Sutton. Well, a lot of it is Aaron Glenn did something with Sutton he really hasn't done most of the rest of the year. He allowed Sutton to travel with Mike Evans everywhere. I think the Lions understood he was going to be a matchup problem, and he is for most teams. And unlike in the past where guys stayed stagnant on their sides, Sutton traveled with him and played with him. It wasn't pretty all the time, but you know what? It was good enough. So there's probably we all are going to want a different option out there, just like we did with Jerry Jacobs and such. But I think at some point we also have to be honest with ourselves and say, this is it. There ain't nobody else coming in. Larry Bird ain't walking down that tunnel to come in and hit the game-winning jump shot. These are our boys. These are our guys. Support them. And you know what? Sutton made a couple plays. He got burned on a couple plays for sure. But at the end of the day, we did enough to win. JDC, good morning, all. Good morning to you, too. Robert, truly greetings and salutations, all Lions fans in the world. Yes, and it's just wherever you are. I know we've got some viewers from the Philippines. We got some from Germany, Hawaii, just, name a few spots. It's really impressive to me. I never would have considered prior to having a YouTube channel, even though if somebody said, hey, Lions fans, they do move to other spots. They do watch their team from other spots when they do move. I would have gotten that, but I would have never really realized how many Lions fans are around the world and supporting this team. It's probably a good argument to be had that a lot of people have become Lions fans in the last year or so because of Hard Knocks, because of the storylines, because of the notoriety they've brought into the franchise. Good for them, and I hope everybody's bracing for another big game this upcoming weekend. Robert, what a game. Woo! Michael, been waiting for a Super Bowl for 60 years, and let's make sure we do everything we can to get us there and finish this job, beat the 49ers. No easy task for sure, but hey, it's achievable, I believe. Robert, Dan Odamas, wise, so wise. Yes. Hey, I'll take the credit. And I did start pulling up the video from last year when, like I said, Lions were 1-4, 1-5. And I did a video, whatever it was, 10 reasons why I think the Lions will make the Super Bowl in 2024. And you know what? It looks like it might just happen. That thing's got an opportunity to hit, and I will pull it up for you guys. All right, Michael, I'm thankful for sharing this journey with you and my grandson. I'll be 60 this year. Thank Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, Sheila Fordham. They all need some serious praise. And obviously it starts with Ford Hamp. She's the one who initiated the changes when she was put in ownership status of the team for the Ford family. And, she started off by hiring some of the right people up top. From there, other decisions were made to bring in Brad Holmes, obviously MCDC. And from there, it just trickled down. It got off to a rocky start. Here we all were saying the same stuff. Here we go again. 0-10-1, and then it became whatever it was, 13-3-1 or whatever. Last year, the less than ideal start to the season, but something flipped, something changed, and obviously we're here now, and we all just need to embrace it because we've all seen way too many bad times to overlook the good times. Jason, I was a little nervous at the end, but then Barnes, 100%. Yeah, when I was thankful when the Tampa Bay didn't get the 2-point conversion because I was like, hey, even worst case scenario, they go down, they've got to score a touchdown and get the 2-point conversion. We've all suffered from Lions PTSD. If that would have happened, we would have all been like, here we go again, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? Something is different to this team. And Jason, like you're pointing out, Barnes came up with a play perhaps of his career or perhaps of his life. And man, I hope he kept that ball and it's in a trophy case already at his house. All right, Robert, good morning. Dan and crew, good morning to you too. JP, finally some respect for the Lions. I'm going to be watching some of those videos and whatever today, listening in. We'll see if we get some respect. I heard a few yesterday, but I was so busy watching 49ers video, trying to break down some of their nuances and probably their tendencies that I didn't get to watch a lot of it. Robert, did you see Brad Holmes screaming in the elevator? I did not. I'll have to check that out today. Again, spent so much time after our game and then the live post-game show. I wanted to start breaking down, 49ers stuff, looking especially on the defensive side of the ball. That's where I'm real interested. I feel like I've got at least a fairly good idea of what they're going to try to attack us with on offense. But defensively, I think they're going to present some challenges, both sides of the ball. But what do you expect? Final four, everybody's got an offense, everybody's got a defense, everybody's got special teams. You're just looking for the small nuances that maybe give you a slight edge. Robert, total team effort, agreed, 100%. Jason, TOD, Team of Destiny. I agree. That needs to be the moniker all week long, I think. Robert, we should all meet at a Lions home game next year. I believe that we need to try to make that happen. Next year, especially early in the year, I'll talk to a lot of the neighbors because they tailgate and they do a great job of it. One of them, David, he makes pizzas for everybody. I mean, he's got this little oven he brings out, like a wood burner oven. It makes pizzas. They've got a lot. I'll ask him for all the information. JP sets up a bunch of stuff as well. And there's a pretty good crew of them that meet up. I'd say probably 10 to 15 of them. Maybe there's more in the whatever parking lot it is. But I'll see if I can set up a Lions Talk Live tailgate at one of their events and maybe piggyback off what they do. So stay tuned. We'll set that up for next year. Tim Bourne, greetings and salutations all. Man, what a season we are having. Hard to believe 2 seasons prior, we started the year 0-10. You're not wrong. How far we've come. Robert, game, yes. Robert, just take care of business. Yes, that's what it comes down to at this point. Michael, we should all meet in Las Vegas. Lions make it to the Super Bowl. I don't know if I'd be able to get into the Super Bowl, but I might head out there for the Super Bowl. That might be something. Michael, TOD, 100%. Brent, good morning, coach and Duke crew. Woo! Let's go Lions, 100%. Everybody's feeling that way today. Everybody's got to be on like cloud 29 today. Oh, man, I got to imagine all the radio talk shows are going to have 50 billion people calling in, talking to them, or whatever. And you know what? Embrace the moment. That's all I can say. Quentin, at Jason, for real. We winning this week and getting to that dang Super Bowl. Agreed. Yes, 100%. All roads right now are pointed at the Super Bowl. Michael, Frank Ragnow is Iron Man. Yeah, and I did catch his chat with, I don't know. I think maybe it was ABC or whoever the reporter was. We'll go with that. Him, was it Goff and the reporter? And just, she specifically asked him about that knee and ankle. And he just said, in a nutshell, paraphrasing here, there's no way he was going to go out of the game. He was going to fight through it. He's him, Decker, Reese Maben, a couple of these guys are still here that have been here from the Quintricia era and just some of the down times. I got to imagine it's going to be a real gut check for any of them to not play. So they're going to find a way to duct tape, Bondo, super glue, whatever they got to do, man. I mean, tape some wood to the side of that knee and make a brace. They're going to be out there playing. Robert, Baker praised Branch in an interview after the game. I'll have to check that out. Again, just watching too much video, but Branch has played pretty well. And I know one of the negatives on him coming out of the draft and probably ultimately why we were able to get him is just, hey, he does this or that, but, does he have the speed or the ability to play at the NFL game? I think he's proven that, speed in a straight line, and you'll see this from time to time, it's not the one-all, be-all things. Just like Puka Nacua, and his big knock was that he didn't have great speed. Jerry Rice, obviously, if you watch the NFL forever, He's notoriously, when he tested the NFL Combine, he was slow. He was like a 4.7 or something like that, which nobody would look at a wide receiver and go, yeah, we need to take that guy. So there are some guys that just run faster when they have the ball in their hands or when they're in the game. Mile marker. What about a y'all for Montgomery? Yes. Who took the brutal tackles trying to get that run game going. Grit. Yeah, he hammered some people. And I get everybody says, hey, him and Gibbs are, thunder and lightning or whatever. But Montgomery did make some big plays out there. I just think the hard part for him, probably after this year, is the writing's on the wall. Gibbs is just rare. And I don't think that means Montgomery doesn't get reps and everything, doesn't get takes or whatever. He's going to get his totes for sure. But sometimes I guess what I should just say is sometimes I think Montgomery, to your point, Mile, gets overlooked because of what Gibbs can do. And he's so, explosive. We should not lose focus on how good David Montgomery really is. Brent, San Francisco, just a quick stop on the way to Vegas. It is, let me tell you, I haven't been out there quite a few times. You're not that far a drive from Vegas, from San Fran to Vegas. All right, Controlled Fury from the confidence of the den of Goff's nostalgic home, where he was a huge fan of Joe Montana. Sounds like a storybook path to the Super Bowl to me. Team O Destiny. Thanks, Dan. Hey, anytime. Glad to do this show. Glad to be out here with you guys and just embracing this opportunity and moment for all Lions fans. Polar Bear, Lions are going to the Super Bowl. 49ers aren't that tough. Woo! Hey, watching the Green Bay game, the reason why I picked Green Bay to beat them is I thought Green Bay could really expose the interior rush on that 49ers line. And I still think that's the case with Detroit. I do think Detroit is going to be able to mix in a lot of their dime or nickel blitzes that they've done so much in the last few weeks or months, I guess you could say. I do think they're going to be able to catch some people off guard. The other thing, I do like Brock Purdy. I think he is a good quarterback. I just don't know if he has the arm strength that we've seen with a Baker Mayfield, or I get a lot of people give Nick Mullins some disservice and credit, but Mullins can sling it. That dude can throw it down the field. And Purdy, it may not seem like a huge thing, and I could be proven wrong. I just think there's less velocity on some of his deep passes. So what that means to me is that ball hangs in the air a little bit longer, a half second to a 3/4 of a second difference. That may not seem much to most people in humanity, but when you're allowing a DB to catch up to a deep pass, that's going to provide a better opportunity for a breakup or pick. And that's where I think the Detroit Lions defense can really, really make a difference from some prior games. We'll see what shakes out. Southwest Lion, good morning, all. I had to create a new account. Was Southwest Lion 16. Got locked out of the old one. This Lions team is resilient and mentally tough. I would agree, and glad you got a new account. Glad you're okay, because I know a few of us in the chat were wondering what happened to you. I'm just glad you're okay, buddy. But yeah, the Lions don't fold. They never seem, no matter what the stressor or situation is, they don't seem to give up. They seem to find a way to battle through even the biggest challenges they faced. So to your point, yeah, there's no reason to bet against this team. Darcy, what do you got? Good morning, all. I think we can do this. San Francisco does not look unbeatable. No, they're tough for sure. They are worthy of being the number one seed. They are worthy of being in this moment. But to what you're kind of pointing out there, Darcy, that yes, this team is beatable, and I think we can beat them. Anthony, 2 INTs, 3 sacks. Come on, San Francisco. Let's hope that we can get that. Heck, man, I'm going to say this. Let's get 5 picks on Purdy. Let's make him not look so Purdy. Here we go. And yeah, I think we're going to be able to get home against him. He's not unmobile, but obviously him running around isn't his strength. So let's see what the Aaron Glenn comes up with this week. Controlled Fury from the confidence of the den of Goff's nostalgic. All right, yeah, I think I got this one. Sorry about that, man. All right, David's at Southwest Lion. Welcome back, and greetings and salutations, everybody. I agree with that, and well, good morning to you too. Jerome, good morning, Coach. Do you have another alternative to replace Cam Sutton? No, I don't believe there is, and I get we all want some shutdown corner, some Deion Sanders type guy to come in here and do something, but there's just not that person on this staff. There's on this roster, I should say. So you're gonna have to live with the guys we got. and just cheer them on because they're doing the best they can and they are our best options. Southwest, Dan, I think we could have used Houston in those third and long situations. I think they need to put him out there for the 49ers. It'd be real interesting, Southwest, to get a comment or two from MCDC on why he wasn't activated. I mean, they obviously are out there critiquing him all week long, trying to evaluate. But in order to put him in, you got to put somebody else obviously out of the lineup. So all I can say is I'm guessing they're saying that right now everybody else is a better option than Houston. But we'll see what this week holds. Anthony, as Garner Johnson put it, told you not to mess with us 100%. And I get every athlete's going to be confident. Every athlete's going to say, hey, we're going to win. I would be worried about the athlete who doesn't do that. But I will say this, CJ Garner Johnson, that dude's got some energy. And even on that pick he had yesterday, you can see he's got some real athleticism. You watch his hips when he switches directions, his agility. Yeah, he's rare. He is not the common DB out there. Michael, MCDC now has a record of 26-1. Please win one more grit game so I don't have to hear anymore about the teams that haven't been to a Super Bowl. Thank you, Dan Thornton. Oh, thanks, man. Your show is awesome. In chat. Hey, you know what? The show works because we all work together. We all support each other. We're all kind to each other. Nobody's really insulting each other. So I love the fact that every morning I get to come up and do this show with you guys. I get sometimes people are not going to agree with me, you, or whoever, but just be respectful about it. I am aware of because of you guys, there are other channels that if you say something the host doesn't like, they come at you or whatever, they block you or move you or whatever they do. But I just don't believe in that. I believe that, hey, you got an opinion, go with it. Just be respectful of each other. And I'm real dang thankful that this show exists because I think we have a fun time on here. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I think. All right. And just one other thing. It's hard to believe that MCDC's record is now 500, considering how bad it was at the start, that first year and a half. That's just further evidence how much this team has really turned things around. All right, Lions do or die vet. Greetings and salutations, my fellow Duke crew. What was said to Coach last that made him mad and said, I bet you were one of them. Did anyone hear who and what? I guess I don't know what that is. So I'll have to try to find out what that is. But again, once I got off the live show yesterday, I just try to pull up, 32 video and all 22 video of as many 49ers games as I could so I could start breaking them down. So yeah, if you guys have any information on this, throw it in the chat because I'm just not privy to it, unfortunately. All right, Jerome, hey, Coach, why do you think we continue to abandon the run in the second half? Some of it is, just what the other team's doing defensively. Now, we did get to the run, especially in the fourth quarter, but I think the Lions were trying to throw the 49ers, or excuse me, not the 49ers, the Tampa Bay out of that coverage, which ultimately they did. Tampa Bay, I'll say about midway through the third quarter, they had to change up their schemes. They had to start defending the pass more than they worried about the run, which is why the run took off, especially in the fourth quarter, because Goff was slicing them up. The Lions, were clearly able to identify what to do against them, sort of like the first time we played in week 6 or whatever. The Lions threw them out of having so many guys within a few feet of the line of scrimmage. I want to say the announcers made some comments about it too, that even when Tampa Bay kept, 2 or 3 in secondary units up at the line of scrimmage, you were watching as soon as the ball got snapped, it was a run play. Those guys were in sprint mode, often 8 to 15 yards back to try to stop the pass. The problem with that is, you're just asking guys to basically go in a deadline sprint to cover ground. That means they're not really paying attention to a formation or routes by the receivers coming out. That's a tough position for, I would say, defender at any level to be in because you are so busy hustling to get to an area. You have to, basically block out everything going else around you. So hopefully that's the very long answer to your question there, Jerome, and hopefully it works for you. All right, George, what do you got? Anthony, what do you got? Right? CJ has 2 picks already this season. He does in his return. He's already gotten 2. Right place, the right time type of guy. Glad he is back. Yeah, he's adding something to this D for sure. And you know what? The D needed it, and he came back at the right time. Iffy's playing great. CJ's playing great. Hutchinson, there was one question I had, and I don't know if we'll get it, but on the Tampa Bay drive, once we had taken the 14-point lead, and Tampa Bay, basically do or die, had to go down the field to get that score. Hutchinson wasn't in for that drive. And I was just wondering, is this just for rest purposes? Was he hurt? He did return to the game later on, but I thought it was real interesting on that drive. Basically, you stop Tampa Bay there with a 14-point lead, the game's over. And I was just surprised he was not in. Robert, after 30 plus years of waiting for another shot, I'm proud to be a Lions fan, exclamation points, but also speechless at the moment. Dude, you're like, I'm going to guess 99% of the Lions fans just trying to figure out what's going on. Is this real? I know a few of us have talked about being in a coma or in a dream, and man, nobody wake us up because this is unreal. And yeah, embrace it all week long, man, because, who knows when we'll see this again. Matthew, good morning. How about those Detroit Lions staying true to their play? Barnes come to shine at the right time. Yeah, right dude, right time, right moment, and so happy for him because again, I know he's lost some snaps because of Jack Campbell's rise. Anzalone's played. I think we could all agree he's played pretty well this season. So you've taken some snaps away from him as you've given more 3 safety looks, especially on passing downs. Barnes got his opportunity there, and you know what? He sees the moment. Cabosa, it's our time. Agreed. Detroit D, good morning, everyone. Great win yesterday, but now it's on to San Francisco and stopping CMC. We'll go with that, and you know what? Let's make sure that this is not the final game of our season. We are making the push into the promised land of the Super Bowl. Tori Apple, greetings and salutations all. I think if we can get to Purdy, we can get this game. He did not look great against Green Bay. No, he did not look great. And hey, if the Green Bay Packers hold on to 2 of those picks, I'm going to guess at least one of them was a pick 6. We're facing Green Bay at Ford Field. Didn't happen. I think you can get to Purdy. I've offered you guys a little bit of thoughts on him already. I think it is very possible that we win this game. I'm living a dream today. Go Lions. Yeah, well, enjoy the dream. Embrace the moment. Southwest, a couple of times, Goff fake handoff to Gibbs Montgomery, then through to them in middle of the field. I'd like to see more of that. I would too. And I know the Buccaneers yesterday did basically a fake handoff, a quick slant option. I think it was the Godwin, but don't hold me to it. And you know what? It was there. I would not mind the Lions using more and more of that because their running game is feared by everybody. Everybody's going to come into a game saying, hey, we've got to stop the Detroit Lions running game. Because of that, if you did use some quick screechers like that, you would have some opportunities. But getting the backs involved in the passing game more and more, I'm all for it. Anthony, funny, CJ said prior to the game that the Bucs was were good, just need a NFL quarterback and picks Baker's their first drive amazing. Yeah, and that had to rattle Baker, I would think, a little bit because really until the final drive of the half, he just didn't look comfortable. And, some of that's a credit to the Detroit Lions getting pressure on him, changing some schemes or looks for him. But Baker is, he's revitalized his career. I don't think Tampa Bay's not going to re-sign him by any stretch of the imagination. That's probably his home for the foreseeable future. He's got some real pluses. He's got some parts he's not great at. He's probably better than, 85, 90% of the quarterbacks in the league. There's not going to be a whole lot of them you would take over him. But you know what? To your point, Anthony, we got him to make the mistakes we needed to get the game, and that's all we could ask. All right, Jerome. Hey, Coach, can we activate players from the practice squad if we have starters hurt? And if so, who should we bring up? At this point, I'm not sure there's anybody on the practice squad that they'll bring up. Maybe I'm not thinking of somebody, but could they do it? Sure. Is there somebody there? At least off the top of my noggin at 7:30 in the morning, I'm not thinking of anybody. But if anybody's got some thoughts on maybe somebody to bring up, let me know. All right, Hooker time. I was at the game, greatest football game I've ever defensive football game ever. Every defensive possession was the decimal between 150 and 120. The first and last interceptions were the loudest moments. Great experience with my son. Well, I'm glad you and the son had a great time there. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how high the pitch count or the decimal count got to. Did it supersede the week before? I get on TV. They do what they can to control the noise so people at home aren't affected by it. But I got the strong sense it got pretty loud in there. Lions do or die bet. It's the greatest morning in Lions Nation. One game from the Super Bowl. And you know what? Let's get greedy now. Let's get that one more game. Jason, Green Bay's offensive line played great against the 49ers, as will we. Yeah, and it'll be real interesting to see if there's any updates on Jonah Jackson. Hopefully he's okay and good to go. Same with Frank the Tank. Give them all the rest they can this week because we need those dudes out there next weekend. Trey, what's good all? Question mark. Just doesn't seem real. The Lions couldn't win a playoff game for 30 years, and now we've got 2 in a week. And you know what? You're no different than everybody else, man. We're all sitting here going, what is going on? What has happened? But, at the same time, we're all thankful and embracing it. Just, hey, keep on going. Keep on moving forward into the postseason. Okay, so is James Houston playing this week? To be honest, we probably won't know until next Sunday when the actives, inactives come out. I'm going to guess they're going to practice him all week. I'm going to guess we're going to get, favorable reports saying, hey, he's improving, he's getting better, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, just like yesterday, we won't know if he's going to be activated until 3 or 4 hours before game time. All right, JDC, 906 Grit here. Go Lions. Go Lions 100%. I guess I'd be 269 Grit here. So Detroit D, our defense is surprisingly gelling at the right time. Yeah, Aaron Glenn, really ever since the Denver game, he's figured out a few things. I think, and we've talked about it. I think he's figured out, hey, we just can't play this type of D. We don't have the personnel for it. So we've got to basically take our shots. You're going to hit some stuff on us. We're going to get some stuff on you. That's how we're going to play. Really, the only times when we played passive, to me, that seems to be when the other teams really get an advantage on us, when we play more traditional, less assertive defensive football. Brent, Lions still playing football in the end of January. What a great change. And you know what? That's a phenomenal point you got there, because when is the last time any of us could say that? You'd have to go back to the 90s. And here we are, really almost to February, and the Detroit Lions are still alive in the playoffs. Just crazy. All right, Lions do or die. Grit, 100%. Southwest, brutal loss for Buffalo yesterday. It was, you know what? And the magic of Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs continues. So it's things for Buffalo because they just seem like they're always on the cusp of getting there. All right, Michael, I noticed that more people are wearing Lions gear now. Where were you when we were losing all the time? I never stopped wearing my gear. Just how it is, man. There's always going to be fair weather fans. And you know what? Embrace it. Just, don't be spiteful against it or whatever. If it gets more people to be fandoms of the team, gets more people to come on out, then let them, let everybody do it. But we know who's been around for a while. So just like, there's this YouTube channel and 20 other ones that been around during the bad times, I guess you could say. There'll be fans that have been around during the rough times. That just, to me, it makes it sweeter when you've been through all the bad. Now that you get to taste the good. Somebody who just walks in off the sidelines and says, hey, I'm here cheering. Hey, good for you, but it's not quite the same to me. All right, sorry, I had to clear my throat there real quick. All right, Jerome, morning coach, seems like we struggled in the red zone a lot. Do you agree, and why? I think a lot of it is just Tampa Bay's defense. They've got some dudes who can play there. With that being said, we also had 3 straight drives where we got touchdowns, but there's a reason why Tampa Bay made it this far. They've got some abilities and some strong ones. Todd Bowles, great defensive coach, but that also needs to show you how good of a job Ben Johnson and the Detroit Lions did, and Jared Goff, the offensive line. Give them all praise because we threw them out of the type of D they wanted to play. We made them adjust to us. And once you do that to a team where you get them to do things they don't traditionally enjoy doing, you're probably going to be far more successful in any sport. I know I mentioned it real briefly yesterday, but one thing I would say this to all of you guys, that there needs to be a lot of praise given to Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. And the reason being, both of those gentlemen, as we all know, had multiple interviews for head coaching openings last week. So on top of their normal workload for trying to prepare for yesterday's game And I'm sure they were putting in extra time with it being, a chance to get the NFC Championship. On top of all that, they had to put in tons of hours for each of those interviews to prepare for those so you could learn all the nuances of that particular team you're trying to apply for. So you got to go through all those interviews while maintaining your team's integrity and being able to do things. To me, you look at some of the teams that had strong head coaching interview candidates, and if their teams played yesterday, or I should say this past weekend, it's to me, there's a strong correlation of why some of those teams struggled on offense or defense. If you look at some of their personnel who are interviewing for head coaching jobs, there's too much of a distraction. There's no way around it. You want guys to be able to advance their careers. It's going to be real hard to tell somebody not to take those interviews. So there's no way to stop somebody from doing it. But at the same time, there's a cumulative effect. I'm going to spend 6 to 8 hours getting ready for this particular interview on top of doing that interview. And on the same time, I still got to do all the stuff to take care of this current team's offense or defense. That's a heck of a workload. And, give those guys some credit that we were able to still perform at a high level, maybe even a very good high level, and still win the games. Anthony, I don't believe he played one snap. Houston. No, he was inactive for all yesterday. So, yeah, Houston did not play. Hooker time. The only real time for fans to get upset was the goal line situation, and Craig Reynolds scored. Crazy. Yeah. And you know what? Give them some credit for the trickeration. Having a skipper come in and report himself eligible. If I'm the Bucks, I see that. I see Craig Reynolds in there. Probably was thinking it was some sort of pass. And you know what? Hey, the Lions caught him napping. Good for us. Outthought somebody for a moment. It's time for a Ric Flair. Woo! There you go, man. Just for you. Detroit D running production when it had to. Ben Johnson opened up the playbook a little bit today. Yes, he did. He did open it up. Mile marker trade tipping. Just what I was thinking, man. It's mind blowing. Yes, produce. Agreed. Southwest line putting Reynolds in the 4th and 1. I think Tampa Bay was expecting a pass in that situation. Great surge by the offensive line. Probably the best of the game. You're not wrong. And I know the videos showed the replay of Frank Ragnow. I mean, he held his own and even pushed Villavea, and that's a tall ask to make, and he did it a few times yesterday. Coker time, offense. Woo! Woo! There you go. That one's better. Robert G, IDD, still like to see a jet sweep from J-Mo. Yeah, we might get it. It hasn't happened yet. Detroit D, got to find more ways to get J-Mo involved early throughout the game. Yeah, and I'm thinking they're working on it. It's just, let's be honest, the Lions got a lot of weapons. It's hard to get them all involved so much, but Jameson Williams continues to show steady increase and improvement. Property Lord, Detroit is going to the Super Bowl. Wait and see. I think you're onto something there. I think I would agree with you. Mile marker Hooker time. Oh, dude, the memories you got now. Yeah, dang, yeah. I'm glad that you and your son got to go enjoy the game. Southwest, if Jackson can't go, I think we'd like to see more 2-back sets. Use Cabinda primarily as the blocking back. You might see the Lions make some adjustments for sure, but we'll wait and see and probably have more information come tomorrow on Jonah Jackson. Brandon, I got my birthday gift. Thanks, Detroit Lions. Let's get it. 100%. And happy birthday to you. Hopefully they keep it going for you. Robert G, how about Laporta? What a beast. You know what? And he seems like he might not be 100% the rest of the playoffs, but he definitely seems like he's getting closer and closer to it every week. Bit Lady, greetings and salutations, Coach. Well. Great game. NFC North and South champs. NFC title shot. What could be better, baby? Question mark. I predicted 30-23 all week. Nice and double-digit lead turned into a one-score game. You did a great job with that. I know I was picking my 10. You did a great job with your predictions. We need to get you a towel of destiny for sure. Detroit D, we are winning this game and going to win our first ever Super Bowl trophy. Take it. That would be one heck of a ride for the Detroit Lions. You know what? I'm going to guess once we win the Super Bowl, a whole lot of Lions people calling in sick the next day at work. Anthony, Tampa Bay just gave up the middle. Thanks. Yeah, they did repeatedly. They kept in that zone structure with zone underneath, man over the top. And you know what? We picked them apart, and Tampa really just didn't seem to have an answer for it. And I know the commentators talked a little bit about that too. Mile marker, happy birthday at Brandon. Yeah. Happy birthday, buddy. Jonathan, what do you got? We are Houston play a San Francisco. Okay, we'll go with that. Hopefully Houston does play at San Francisco. Again, we won't know until next Sunday unless the Lions break their norm and come out and say something ahead of time. But we'll have to wait until next Sunday's actives and inactives list. Southwest, if both Brockman, Wright, and Mitchell are unavailable, I'm wondering if the Lions should sign Zach Ertz. Well, Mitchell's been put on the IR, so he's done for the year. Right, we'll see. I think we'll have to wait until middle of the week to know any things like that. Good morning, all. What a nail biter, but Goff played like he had a mission. Hope he can keep it going. Woo! Yeah, really. I think he only had one bad pass I can think of, and that would have been early in the game, the first drive into the end zone, where he threw one pass that probably should have been picked. But other than that, I think he played one of his better performances for sure. Warford, Dan O'Damas, and you will see the Dan O'Damas in the Towel of Destiny. You know what? I'll do it tomorrow morning show. I'll bust it out and give you guys a score prediction for Sunday just to get that out of the way. And yes, if you want to order your own Towel of Destiny, I think you can get them at probably any Target near you. Brandon, thanks, Mile Marker. We did it. Yes, we did. Pierce, woo! There you go, Pierce, just for you, and hope you're having a good morning. Hey, all Lions. There you go. Robert G. Yeah, you can't say enough about Amaran, the Sun God. Yeah, dude's a player, and you know what? Good for him. He's overcome a lot of adversities, and you know what? He's become one of the stars of the NFL. Jerome, hey, coach. Why do it seem like only a way we can get to the quarterbacks blitzing? A lot of that's just our personnel. We just don't have, somebody who can win a vast majority of one-on-one win rates. So it is what it is. But you know what? I'm just glad that we are blitzing at timely times to get home and get some pressure. You're going to have to address the defensive line in the offseason because really there's nothing we can do about it at this point. Bet Lady at Southwest Line. Nice to see you back in the fold. Hope all is well. Agreed. I'm glad he's okay because I know we're all wondering if something had happened. Mile marker, I'm on. Yeah, he is the Sun God, and he is, man, is he a more perfect fit for this team than any other wide receiver? I mean, he's just got the personality, he's got the traits, he's got the grit. How about that? Jonathan, will Houston play next week in San Fran? We're gonna have to wait till Sunday to find out to see if he's on the active inactive list. James, let's go! Exclamation points. Lions all the way. I agree. And I think there's a real opportunity for us to beat San Fran and get into the Super Bowl. I'll give you guys my Super Bowl predictions with the Towel of Destiny tomorrow as well. Brandon, I had to take the day out for baby and feels good this morning. Let's go Lions. Let's go Lions. 100%. Hope you're having a great day off. Zane, how are you, Dan? I am good. How about you, man? Hopefully you are having a great one. Don, we will defeat the 49ers. Yeah, and I think they match up very well with us. I think we've got a good chance of winning this. Obviously, you guys already know, spoiler, I picked us to go into the Super Bowl. So, yes, I am picking the Lions to win. I'll give you the score tomorrow, though, with the Towel of Destiny. Southwest Lion, Bit Lady, thanks. Always good to hear. Hope so on your end. Same on your end. Yeah, and hope you're doing well, Bit Lady. Jason, I'm a run. I like that. Amen, Ran. Yeah, he answered our prayers. He did. Amen, Ran. I didn't catch that just now. Lions do or die. I was in the service watching the Lions last NFC Championship. So I'm guessing you were in the Middle East then. Not 100% sure, but let us know. And thank you very much for your service to the country. Anthony, those sportscasters were on Tampa Bay's, the whole game. And then I was sick of hearing it. Guess what? They swallowed. Yes, they might not have been as pro Detroit as they were pro Tampa Bay. True Light, our defense scares me. I get it, but it's the only one we got. So embrace the fear. Pierce, the 49ers look beatable, especially against the run. They did. And Green Bay did a far better than I would have anticipated job against the 49ers running. Maybe they caught the 49ers off guard a little bit. The 49ers are probably going to be pretty prepped to stop the run. But like Tampa Bay, you put too many resources up at that line, you're exposing other aspects of your defense. Now, what can the Lions do to expose that? I think they gave you a pretty good preview of things yesterday. Bit lady, Lions versus 49ers, the same as the playoffs in 57 at San Fran. Let's do this. Yeah, same as I want to say it was 81 when Eddie Murray missed the field goal that would have put basically the Lions into the NFC Championship then. So it would be a real good chance for the Lions to exonerate those demons from the 80s. All right, 9 drinks. Woo! There you go, buddy. Detroit D, we got to give safety help over the top when facing top-tier wide receiver so our cornerback can be more aggressive at the line. Yeah, I know the announcers pointed out ad nauseum when Sutton had that one press right before half, and he didn't do a great job with it. I don't think him in press coverage against Mike Evans, he's just giving up too much size and mass. But, there's nobody else out there. But to your point, maybe having a safety roll over the top, especially against Debo, if Debo does play, that could be a possibility for sure. Mile marker at Jason Berry, LOL, thanks. Just made it up. Possibly others have too. It could be. I did not catch it originally. Ochre time. I asked fans that went to the game last week and yesterday's game to compare. Most said last week's game was so unique, meaning nothing like it. However, yesterday was more, we got this, level of confidence. Now that you've won some playoff games, the confidence level rises. So I get that. Justin, Detroit Lions, 1 game away. San Francisco better get ready because the Lions are not playing around. No, they're coming to win 100%. They're coming to get into the Super Bowl. Zane, Dan, what are your overall thoughts of the Lions versus 49ers? Overall, I would say this to you, Zane. I think both teams match up pretty well with the others. I think the 49ers defensive line isn't what it was years ago. I think they are starting to show some signs of age, and it happens to everybody. As long as the Lions offensive line is healthy and intact, I think it's almost a push between both groups. So if the 49ers are going to be like Tampa Bay and most other teams in the last few months that have put, 7, 8 guys at the line of scrimmage to try to stop the Lions run, I think Goff's going to have an opportunity to go off on them. And I think you're going to see a lot of the same offensive packages you saw yesterday. Goff's on, you're going to be able to move that ball against them, and that's going to put the 49ers defense in some trouble. Conversely, like I've already mentioned a little bit in the show, I think the big difference between the 49ers game and any of the games we've really seen in the last month or so is the arm strength of Brock Purdy. He is accurate, no question about it. That kid can put the ball where it needs to be. It's just once you start getting to, I'd say, 15 or more yards, he starts to have to throw more of a rainbow, which, we do have some faster cornerbacks. We're all aware they're not the greatest cornerbacks in the league. But the more that ball has to rainbow or lob to a target, the more opportunity you give for one of those cornerbacks to catch up or make a play on the ball. And that's where I think we've got a better matchup here than we've had in the last few weeks. Stafford's got a howitzer. We all know it. Nick Mullins can rip that ball. While he's got some real negatives and people kind of downgrade him because he's Nick Mullins, he does have a cannon. Baker Mayfield, has a better than average arm. He can pop the ball. That's where I just think versus the last several games, this is where there will be a major difference, in my opinion, going into this game. Southwest Lion, Bit Lady, good thing. I hope MCDC brings that up to the team. Yeah, I believe he will. Control Fury, Dan, thanks for this great show. Thanks for saying that, man. You are knowledgeable, respectful, and full of enthusiasm. I am. It must be the Mountain Dew. Your followers as well. You is the key, Dan. And I will do me always, man. This is just who I am. So if you ever see me coach or whatever, this is me 24 hours a day. All right, Luell, we got play calling has to get better, and hopefully it will for this weekend. Don Kong, Super Bowl or bust. There we go. Here we go. Yeah, I do got to get this into one of the thumbnails this week, 100%. I got to do that for you, Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong, here we flip and go. Agreed. Black Lion, Vikings fans are crying over the kneecap sign. In the stands. That fan base is soft. You know what? If you're complaining about somebody talking about an oppressor that they're going to bite kneecaps, hey, get over it, man. That stuff's 3 years old. Anthony Camp's son is not a number one corner. We need serious help in the secondary. He is not a number one corner. I'd say he's probably better off as a number two. the one thing when he played in Pittsburgh, they played a lot more zone coverage, and you could see it even when they were playing man yesterday or the week before. His eyes are so much in the backfield, but that's just a result of years of playing zone coverage. That's also why sometimes he gets beat in man coverage, because he's constantly trying to keep eyes on the quarterback looking for the ball. It is what it is, though. At this point in the year, you're not getting anybody new until the offseason. We're keeping who we got. Hopefully, they can make a few more plays for us. Detroit D, Brian Branch is a monster. He's my favorite defensive player. You know, the kid is a player, 100%. And he keeps showing more and more reasons why he got overlooked, and it makes you wonder why so many other teams passed on him. Scott Fitzgerald, no mercy in San Fran. Stay folks, agreed. Southwest, I think the Lions beating Tampa Bay gave the Red Wings some extra incentive. They beat the Lightning later at the LCA. And if they did, I did not know that, just because, again, I was so deep in the video most of the night. Ludell, all that throwing inside the 5-yard line. Hey, that's what they went with, and it was good enough for us to win, but doesn't mean they couldn't clean some things up for sure. Don Kong, can anyone help pay for my ticket out there? Yeah, somebody texted me yesterday saying there were some other YouTubers out there asking people to, send them money so they could go to the game. Hey, if you got extra money, you want to send it to somebody, go for it. Donkey Kong, you may want to put up your notices out there so they can send you some too. Jason, that bit lady, 1957, 31-27 victory over the 49ers. Then the 59-14 drubbing for the chip. Yes, and let's hope we can do that again. Ed, good morning, Coach. Great game. Your post-game show was fun. Go Lions. I've been waiting a long time. Woo! Well, I am just thankful, Ed, that the Nature Boy was able to make a guest appearance. He hasn't been on the show so much as of late. Last year, for those who don't know, I would dress up every once in a while when I first started the channel as Ric Flair, and, I had a fun thing with it, but I noticed my voice was shot for a day or two afterwards after doing a show for, 30 minutes or an hour as Ric Flair. So, yeah, I probably can't do that so much anymore. Bit lady, all of a sudden 2 playoff wins, and they are doing something the Bears and Vikings have not done in a long time. You are right there. Phil, greetings and society, Coach. Salutations, Coach and crew. Good morning to you, my friend. Hopefully you're having a great one, Philly. All right, Donkey Kong, we are in the championship game. Woo! You are correct, Donkey Kong. Zane, what are your overall thoughts on the Lions 49ers? I think I already gave that to you, but if you need more, let me know, or I'll have some more info as I break down more stuff on them throughout the week for sure. Detroit D, our fans are a fantastic way to be loud and disruptive, and they were. They played a huge factor without question. Bit lady, Jason Berry, yes, last playoff road win was in San Fran, and we say team of destiny. There we go. That's an outstanding point, Bit lady. Anthony, Donkey Kong, I'll help you with yours if you help with mine. There you go. You guys both send each other a couple bucks. Dennis, good morning, Dan and Clan. Woo! Good morning to you too, Dennis. Lions, Southwest Lion, Dan, what do you think would have done better covering Evans, Sutton, or Brian Branch? Probably Sutton. Brian Branch, I mean, they're keeping him at what they feel is his best position, which is the nickel back or slot back. Plus, they can blitz more out of there. Sutton, you probably don't want in there in the nickel. I don't think he'd be as effective as a blitzer, especially against running backs in the running game. So they kept him in there for specific reasons, in my view, at least. All right, Pierce, does anyone else think the Final Four at the start of the season? Did anyone else think the Final Four? I did, just because I made the prediction the Lions were going to get the Super Bowl. I had no idea at that point who else was going to be in there. But, yeah, if you guys want, go ahead and check out last year's video. I really did pick the Lions to make it to the Super Bowl this year. So I'll pull that up and try to repost it. Pierce, here's my question. What did you have the Lions doing this year? That's my question to you. Let us know, man. Michael, it's our year. You'd have to believe that, right? Robert, what do you got? Dan Campbell is the best leader of men since George Patton, period. George Patton. There you go. General George. Man, that's a good comparison, actually. A little bit different in some ways, but yeah, both of them good leaders. Black Lion, Lions have a legitimate shot at beating San Francisco. San Fran is a bit beat up and juggling from what I've seen Packers game. This isn't the same 49ers from years past. No, I think they are starting to show some signs of age with some of their key positions, especially, as I mentioned earlier in the show, the defensive line. Burns, shout out to Eminem going to the game pumping up the crowd. Real Lions fans there. Detroit pumps out musicians, but there's one that hasn't left. That's why we love him. Yeah, I know. What's that guy's name? George Seaford or whatever it was there. Straits. Boy, I'm murdering that name. And then, oh gosh, what's his name? The guy who did Bye Bye Barry, the actor from Dumb and Dumber. They were there. It sounds like there was quite a outflow of Lions fans that were famous. They came on out for the game. Detroit area people or Detroit Lions fans that are famous, I should say. Man Bear, good morning, Detroit. Wow, what a sweet win. And it is. And it's a great day to be a Lions fan and be out here talking about the Lions and talking about, going into the Super Bowl with a win over the 49ers next weekend. Anthony, MCDC Coach of the Year. I think there's going to be a strong push for that for sure. Southwest Lions need to hit McCaffrey on every play, especially if he uses to block in blitz situations. Make sure someone covers him out of the backfield as well on screens. Yeah, and I know he's still you could see during the Green Bay game, he's still affected with that hamstring injury. So it's football. If he's going to be out there, you probably want to put hits on that hamstring to try to get it to flare up, not wanting to hurt anybody, but you got to use advantages. If you know somebody's hurt, use that to your advantage. Detroit D looks like C.J. Gardner-Johnson should have given help over the top and let Kirby play Rover over the middle. Could be, and maybe they'll make some of those adjustments this week. Black Lion, MCDC Coach of the Year. Yeah, I think there'll be a real push for that. Jason, how about a Ford Field inside the stadium view for a backdrop dam? You know what? I will try to get something like that for tomorrow's show. I just got to remember to do it. Detroit D on that Mike Evans touchdown. Yeah, I knew where you're going with that, man. Sorry, I had to cough there. Mike, good morning, Duke crew. Good win, but my defense needs two different cornerbacks. Yep, and nothing we can do about it now, man. It's going to be in the offseason when you will have to address that. Docs, what do you got? Not enough woos in here. Well, there you go. There's one more. Robert G just checked $600 for the cheapest seat in San Francisco. Plus, you got to get the flight and the accommodation. So, yeah, it's going to add up in a hurry. Brandon, woo! There you go. JT Krebs, what do you got? Sutton hasn't been quite right ever since he was mentioned on the injury report in week 11 or 12, whatever that was. Yeah, that toe injury could still be lingering around for sure. So it could be a contributing factor, as you're pointing out. Is that still you? How about Hutchins standing there, talking, taking it all in, just like any other long-time Lions fan, awed and happy? Yeah, and I think sometimes people forget he grew up being a Lions fan, literally playing high school football a couple miles away from Ford Field, then obviously played at Michigan. He's as knowledgeable about what this team and franchise has been through as anybody else. And he's I don't think the moment is lost on him by any stretch of the imagination. He's taking it in, and good for him. He had another strong performance overall yesterday. Southwest, Sheila Hamp, it made all the differences. Without her, the Lions wouldn't be where they are. You, I think, are spot on with that, and it lost in all the rebuild is the fact that Ford Hamp started the change. When she took over, she brought in the right people, and they brought in the right people beneath them. Give her a lot of credit for this. Black Lion Sheila should have taken charge years ago. If only they would have given her that opportunity. Zane, can I get a quick shout out, Dan? I'm giving you a quick shout out, Zane. There's your shout out. I watched your show almost every morning. Well, I hope you enjoy it and glad you enjoy it. And, hey, thanks for being here. You got any more questions, man, just fire them away at me. And if I don't get them today, let me know tomorrow. Aaron, good evening, Coach. Great win. Still on a high. Wish Pop was here to see the Lions. Yeah, I think, Aaron, you're like a lot of us. We've all got some people that have been dear to us, family members or friends that aren't here with us any longer to enjoy what we're seeing now. But I got a strong belief, like my dad, my brother, Kevin, they're watching down, they're bracing it, and maybe even having a Mountain Dew upstairs watching it while it's happening. So, yeah, I feel thoughts for everybody who's not here to take on the moment. Dennis, they built from the ground up. They did. They tore everything down. They blew it up. They threw some dynamite in and said, we're starting all over and fresh. Hooker time, 22-6 the last 28 games. Ain't that something, man? What a change. You know what? We need to all just take a moment of pause and remember we were 1-6 a year ago, and what has changed since then. Yeah, none of us has seen anything like this before from a Lions perspective. All right, Joseph, I don't know. Goff isn't just isn't the guy. Ha ha ha. Yeah, there's a lot of people probably being a little bit more silent about that in recent weeks, isn't there? Isn't that you? Oh boy, NFL's wouldn't let it happen. Shame. Yeah, different times, man. Things have changed, and I'm just glad that we're here now. Brother Ken, Sheila has something her dad didn't have, in my opinion, humility. She had the humility to say, I don't know where to start, but I'll ask people in the show, in the know. Yes. And, Ken, brother Ken, I think you're pretty spot on with that. She's wise enough to understand this wasn't her forte. William Ford, like I think I've told you guys before, I had the honor of meeting him a few times and interviewing him. Really nice guy, but to me at least, his biggest fault was he just trusted the wrong people. And when he made a hire, he was just so damn loyal to people. He would keep them around sometimes. I'm not going to name many names, but some people he kept around for decades. And those people, in my opinion, were just collecting a paycheck. They didn't know jack about football or how to run a franchise. And on top of that, they knew that the old man wasn't getting rid of them. And it's unfortunate. But you know what? We can also say if that doesn't happen, maybe we're not here where we are right now. So I'm going to just go with this. I'm happy we're here now. The past, can't change it. Going to think forward. All right, Southwest line, stop the run and make Purdy uncomfortable. Yeah, make them as one-dimensional and relying on Purdy as they can. And I think if you can do that, Purdy's going to have a hard time if you have to put the weight of the game on his shoulders the vast majority of the game. All right, Jonathan, will Houston play at San Francisco next week? We won't know, is my best guess, until next Sunday when the actives and inactives come out. Man Bear, yeah, I saw Dan screaming in the elevator. That was awesome. I'm going to have to check that out. Maybe on the way to the Circle K, I'll do that. Phil, Towel of Destiny says, you'll have to tune in tomorrow to find out, Phil. I'll do that early in tomorrow morning show just to get it out of the way for everybody. Brandon, yes, I need to put Purdy on his back a few times. Yeah, make him look like Stafford later in the game. Black Line, honestly, I feel bad for the Bills fans. I wanted them to beat the Chiefs. I know it was a tough end, but it is what it is. Only one team gets to advance from that game. That's the unfortunate part about the playoffs. Anthony would definitely toss in some cash for a tailgate and a game with the Dew Crew. We will set that up next year, and everybody just bring something to pass, whatever dish to pass. We'll try to get an idea how many people. Maybe we've got to get our own spot to tailgate or whatever, but we'll all figure that out in the offseason. We've got a lot of time to worry about that because, as we all know, when the Super Bowl's over, we've got about a month until free agency, about a month or so after that, you got the draft, and then you've got some downtime. So we'll plan some stuff out for sure. Brother Ken, Sheila picked the brains of executives who led her to Brad Holmes, and you know what? She did the smart move there. You are spot on with that, Brother Ken. She did it. She did a great job with that. Lincoln, Josh Reynolds would be the dark horse against the 49ers. That dude just does not get enough praise. He has shown up time and time again. The Rams game yesterday, throughout the season, whenever they need him, he shows up and the dude produces. I'm going to guess they're going to keep him around. Ed, Super Bowl watch party. Let's make it happen. Let's plan on it right now. Lions in the Super Bowl. We'll stream throughout it. Well, I'm going to tell you all right now, I'm going to be eating some food and having some Mountain Dews during that broadcast. So you just expect some crunchy noises and me slurping on a Mountain Dew or two. So just letting you guys know. Man Bear, Jared Goff is used to playing San Francisco. Yeah, I mean, he grew up out there, so it's going to be familiar weather, conditions, fields, the whole shebang. John M., the Lions can and will best the 49ers. The Chiefs are the best target for the Super Bowl, so I hope they beat the Ravens. Why do you believe J-Mo is not getting more open, long, short passes? Some of that, I think, John, is just the coverages they're seeing. Teams are – it's not – to me, watching like the Rams and then yesterday, teams are aware of what he can do to them, so they are committing more often than not two guys to him. But what that's doing, conversely, is that's leaving a lot of one-on-one coverage, or in Tampa Bay's regard yesterday, some of there's underneath zone coverage. They get so spread apart. You could see it in the second half of yesterday's game. Those backers, not only having to sprint back 8 to 10, 15 yards, but they are so far apart. That's why you kept seeing Laporta, St. Brown, among other people, eating them up underneath in the coverages. T-Share greens, salutations, Coach Duke Crew. I was super pissed when was everyone about to call in Dallas about a month ago. Man, how times have changed. The Cowgirls are on vacation and we're playing for a Super Bowl berth. Yeah, and that's I know we all talked about it. That was a horrible situation then and there, but things have a way of working out. They worked out for us. We got a couple playoff home wins at that, and you know what? Like you just said, Teacher, we're one win away from being in the big dance. Black Lion Ragnow is a warrior through and through. Yeah, 100%. And I know some people have speculated about him potentially retiring in the offseason. I hope he doesn't, man. I hope he just continues to play. Anthony Ragnow is a beast. What grit. Yeah. And I know we mentioned it. Some of those guys that have been around for a while, and I got to imagine even if you haven't been around for a while, if you have the ability to play these last two games, you're going to get on that field. You're going to tell yourself, man, I've got months to heal up and recover. I don't know when I'll get this opportunity again. Doc, do what you got to do, but get me on that field. Phil Mayfield is a classic guy. Yeah, I've got nothing but good things to say about him. When he's playing against the Lions, though, I want to see him fail. Of course, I'm a fan. I'm biased. But other than that, I'd say this. I've got nothing but good things to say about him. One of my childhood friends is a guy named Brian. I know I talked to him a little bit about Mayfield because Brian is in his entire family are Cleveland Browns fans. And you think about what the Browns might have been with Mayfield if they did not move on from him. They'll never know at this point, but I'm guessing it probably stings a little bit more for some of the Cleveland Browns fans seeing how this guy has performed and knowing they could have kept him there. All right, Southwest, I'd like to see them extend Goff, St. Brown, and Sewell in the offseason. Hopefully all will take less than max need to keep the core together. Yeah, and I think you'll probably see Goff and St. Brown at this point get something in the offseason. Sewell, they might wait one more year on him. Who knows, though? Maybe they'll just get it all done now. Key, most San Fran fans are so cocky thinking they're going to blow us out and all, but I believe they're in for a rude awakening. This Lions team has built for the road and for hate V makes them stronger. Yeah, the hate makes them stronger. Agreed. And I think just like they were with the San Fran with the Green Bay Packers last week, they kind of overlooked them maybe a little bit. They found out that maybe they're not the 49ers aren't as tough as they were anticipating. Blackline, Mayfield has matured a lot since being drafted. He's a different player since his Brown days. Yeah, he has. He's grown up, and sort of you could say the same with Goff. I think people sometimes forget when these guys are drafted, they're, anywhere from 19 to 22 years old on average. And I can only tell you what I was like at that age, let alone being somebody who's getting paid millions of bucks, got the media around you all the time, watching you, telling you how great you are. It probably does take a little while, sort of like both of them now. I don't know Mayfield's age. I'm going to guess he's probably around 26 or so now. Goff's, 28 or 9? I mean, they've become adults at this point. So, yeah, they're going to see the world and situations a little bit differently. Neck, Chokefield is a bust moving on. Fair enough. Black Lion, give him credit. Mayfield played his butt off. He did. He did what he could to win. He just made a few errors. And as a Lions fan, I'm selfish here and saying I'm thankful he did. All right, T-Share, it's due 15 and all is well. I thought the Packers should have won the game. San Fran had trouble with the run. And if we could bottle up CMC, we're going to be heading to Vegas. Incredible stuff, Coach. Incredible indeed. And yeah, I think we've got a real chance to win this game. I do agree with you, though. I think Green Bay Packers basically fumbled that game away. Man, Bear, the Browns treated Mayfield much worse than the Rams treated Jared Goff. I would agree with that. Bit Lady Rex Ryan has a lot to say, but consistently praised the Lions as tough butts. Yeah, I would agree with that. JDC, born and bred to rip and shred. Go Lions. I like that. Anything we have not trailed in either of those playoff games. Wow, that is an incredible aspect, isn't it? And not one I would have guessed. Phil, warmer at the Ford Field than the Bay Area. Agreed. Yep, heading out to the Bay Area. Aaron, MCDC, Coach of the Year. I would say there's going to be a real push for that. Black Lions, the only team that makes me nervous is the Ravens. Chiefs aren't the same, and 49ers aren't the same either. Yeah, and if the Chiefs get past the Ravens, that's who we're going to be facing. All right, Nathan, how about them Lions? How about them Lions, man? Ludell, I'd like Purdy throwing across the body turnovers. Yeah, I think we can force a few out of them. The Pasture in Training podcast, Mr. Lombardi, welcome to the Motor City. I like the way you're thinking, man. Is that so you, Lions do or die vet? It was about the media making fun of his press conference. Okay. Hey, get after him then, because they shouldn't have. Pierce, Lions do or die something. Asked Dan his message to those calling for his head at the beginning of the last season. Yeah. All right. So that's what it's about. Gotcha. Southwest, their speed back White pretends to block and then was wide open the flat for the touchdown. Lions need to be aware of that with McCaffrey. Yeah, the 49ers are going to try to use McCaffrey every way they can. All right, bus driver, Black Line agree. Ravens scare me. All right, the Pasture, when MCDC comes on board, my dad said 3 years and we'll be in the Super Bowl. I like it. Your dad had a good pick there. All right, guys, it's been an hour and 10. I've got to get ready for work and things of that sort. So hope you all have a great day. If there's some breaking news later today, I'll try to get on the mic as fast as possible. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're about 80 or so subs away from 5,800, trying to get there before next weekend's playoff game. So if you can do your part to help out, I surely would be thankful. Hit that thumbs up button. Give a stranger hugs. Be nice to others, all that kind of stuff. And we'll see you on the next Lions Talk Live. See y'all.